You're very welcome. Funny about you guys. The last few weeks I've had a bit of a flu, hence I haven't been recording, so apologies for that, but feeling much better now. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk to you about sales, which in my opinion is a fundamental skill that we all need to learn. Now before you switch off and say, hey John, I'm not a sales guy, why do I care about sales? I want to also convince you that we all need to get good at sales, even if it's not our day job. We all have something that we need to convince somebody of. We could be selling an idea, we could be, trying to get on a date with that person that we really like. We could be trying to get a job that we really want. We all have some ambition in life that requires convincing other people to buy into that same ambition. This is also known as sales. And in my opinion, sales is about storytelling. So I'm going to explain to you what I mean in this episode. So firstly, before we start talking about individual salespeople, I also want to talk about the cultures that produce good salespeople. In my opinion, the best salespeople come from countries or regions with a deep culture of storytelling. So some cultures are great at engineering, for example, while others are great at the arts. In a country that produces playwrights, comedians, and poets, chances are they also produce great salespeople. In such cultures, there is an emphasis on storytelling, and then you think about, a comedian, for example, they're telling a story. It's a funny story, but they're telling a story, and it's a difficult thing to do, to get up on stage and to tell a story, especially with some punchline at the end that you hope that it lands and the audience laughs, and you're not just, experiencing an awkward silence. So that takes a lot of skill. And I think it's important to understand where that skill comes from, that it isn't just the individual, but it's also the culture that produced the individual. Now let's talk about what makes a good story. A good story begins by setting the drama. This is the hook for drawing people in. Let me give you an example. A few years back, I attended a presentation by Rasmus Lerdorf, who is the creator of the PHP programming language. So naturally, turning up at such a presentation, I would be expecting to be seeing a lot of engineering, content and topics, and for it to be deeply technical. However, in the first few slides, Rasmus spoke about his childhood growing up on a remote weather station, where his father worked for the Danish Navy. After many years, I cannot remember the details of the rest of his technical presentation, but I remember vividly the photographs of that frozen landscape. That was the drama. And Rasmus said it right at the beginning of his presentation expertly. Human beings have been telling each other stories around a campfire for thousands of years, and technology does not change that fundamental desire. Human beings are also visual, so if you want to get something to stick in their memory, it's always good to use some kind of a metaphor or some visualization that they're more likely to remember than what you say. So if you want people to remember your pitch, firstly, you need to set the drama, then you need to tell your story, and then you need to offer some solutions towards the end, or if you're a comedian, a punchline. If you cannot tell a compelling story, you will fail to sell your products or your ideas. You've got to convince people. You've got to get people to buy into your argument, not only logically, but there is also an emotional play as well, and that's something that shouldn't be neglected. And the best way to invoke an emotional response is to get people to empathize with you and empathize with your story. And they start to relate to what you're saying, and they start to feel the same things that you felt at the time of your story. And I think that's important as well, that, we're not robots, we're human beings, so you need to have some humanity in your stories as well, because that's what people respond to. They don't respond to, for example, a list of features that your product provides. That's great, but that can go in the notes. They're more likely to respond to a story about how that product actually improved upon somebody's life. So, put simply, sales is storytelling. And if you want to get good at sales, you need to tell a good, compelling story that people can relate to and people can enjoy. And they will remember. So, what else have I been doing this week? In terms of my projects, I again, because of being a little bit sick with the flu, my release of Alpha Framework 4.0 has been delayed. That is the version that has added support for PHP 8.1 amongst so many other improvements. I'm hoping I can cut that release this weekend. It's actually code complete. I just need to tag it and bag it and put it onto packages. So I'm hoping I can get that done this weekend. Let's see. Apart from that, I've also been adding a lot more seed URLs to grepper.org. I'm finding that if I add a lot of seed URLs manually from very high quality websites, it's not only obviously improving the quality of the index and the content that's there, but it's also increasing the size of the index as well, which is currently sitting at about 3.1 million web pages indexed. So check out grepper.org, my free search engine. I'm really looking for feedback on that one, guys. So if you have any ideas for features that I should add in there next, please reach out to me on X at TechLeaderPro. In terms of media that I'm enjoying this week, I'm nearly finished issue 2 of Aegeon Science Fiction Illustrated, which is an anthology of short stories in the science fiction genre. I would definitely recommend reading those books. They're great fun. I think there's about 7 or 8 out at this stage. I bought the first 6. They're available on Amazon for like $10 or something. So they're a really fun read, and they harken back to the golden days of science fiction and anthology magazines from the 1950s. Obviously, the stories are a lot more modern, but it's a similar vibe. So yeah, definitely check it out. Okay, I will leave it there, guys. I will speak to you again next Friday. I'm going to try to keep the cadence going this year of a podcast every Friday. So let's see how it goes. And I will speak to you then. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.